Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to draw this pencil for back to school illustration. Let's start. Let's make a new canvas. A4 canvas from Procreate. Rotate it this way. And here's the color palette I will be using. You can download it, link is in the description. We are going to draw the pencil first. We can take this color. Now let's pick the brush. Let's go to calligraphy and pick monoline. Let's make the brush size 13%. And here I'm going to use the symmetry tool. So let's turn it on. Let's go to the actions menu, go to canvas, turn on drawing guide. Now tap here on edit drawing guide. And here at the bottom pick symmetry. And in the options make sure you have vertical selected. Let's tap on done. And we are going to draw the shape for the pencil. We are going to draw a straight line here. Hold your pencil on the screen, and now you can put your finger on the screen to make this a vertical line. Now we are going to draw here a line at an angle, like this. Make it straight too. Hold your pencil on the screen. And now we can use here this edit shape option to adjust the points of this line. Okay, tap with your finger on the screen to finish this. And now let's go to the top of the pencil. And here we are going to draw a line this way. Hold your pencil on the screen, now put your finger on the screen to make this horizontal. And now we can connect those two lines here with an arc. Let's use here the option Edit Shape to make sure this looks nice. Okay. So we have the shape of the pencil ready. We can color this inside. And now we can divide it into few parts. Let's open the layers. Let's make a new layer above it. And set this to clipping mask. This way, whatever we are going to draw here will be visible only on the area of the layer that's underneath it. We are going to keep this color for now. And I want to select here a rectangle in the middle to make the shape of the pencil more interesting. You will see in a moment what I'm talking about. So to draw the rectangle, I'm going to take the selection tool. And here at the bottom, I'm going to pick rectangle. And I will turn on color fill. I'm going to select the rectangle here like this. Okay, and you will not see it because it's the same color as the pencil, but it's there. Let's tap here to finish. And the rectangle is here. Now let's make a new layer. Let's also set it to clipping mask. And we can change the color. We can take the red color for the eraser that will be on top of the pencil. And we can also use here the selection tool. Let's select the rectangle here like this. And now we have the eraser. Tap here to finish. And now we are going to color the bottom part of the pencil. So let's make a new layer for this. Set it to clipping mask. Change the color. Let's take this one. And again we can just use the selection tool. And now we can select rectangle here. Like that. Let's do it again. To draw the end of the pencil, the graphite. So let's make a new layer, set it to clipping mask, change the color to this one, and again selection tool, and we can select a part like this. Okay, now we are going to draw that silver part that is on the pencil, connecting the eraser with the pencil. Let's make a new layer for this. And this part I want to be actually coming out of the pencil a little bit, so I'm not going to set it to clipping mask. Let's change the color, take this one here, and again we can use here the selection tool. We can select the rectangle here like this. And I made it a little bit too big, so now I can just use the arrow tool And here I can change it to freeform option. And I can just move this here like this, make it a little bit smaller. If you are enjoying this video and would like to draw more with me, please check out my Patreon where I have more tutorials like this. Link is in the description. And now we can draw some lines on top of this. Let's make a new layer for this. We can just use here our brush. Let's make the sizes bigger, 100%. And draw here a line like this. Hold your pencil on screen and now put your finger on screen to make this horizontal. Okay, I'll use here the arrow tool to move this to the middle. And I can just copy it twice to have the same line at the bottom of the silver part. So let's open the layers. Swipe this layer to the left and pick here duplicate. Now we can use the arrow tool to move this down over here. And here I have a snapping turn on, and that's why it's going nice and vertically. And we can do it again now. Let's duplicate it and move it down. Okay, tap here to finish. And now our pencil is ready. We can start adding some texture to it. Let's open the layers and let's start with this first layer here, with the shape of the pencil. We don't want to use the symmetry tool anymore. We are going to turn off the drawing assist here. And I want to draw now only on the area of this layer, on this pencil, so I'm going to set this layer to alpha lock. Now we can change the color. Let's take this one here, and let's pick the brush with some texture. And here let's go to materials and pick noise brush. Let's make the brush size 33%. And we can add this texture on this side like that. This way we are also creating a little bit of shadow here. And now here on this side, under that rectangle that is on top of it. And now we're going to use the same color to add the texture to this rectangle. So let's set this layer to alpha lock and draw over here, like this. Let's do the same now for the other parts of the pencil. So let's open the layers, tap on this layer here with the eraser, set it to alpha lock. We can change the color to this one now. And we can draw with it on the right side of the eraser here. Now let's move on to this part. So let's open the layers, tap on this layer here and set it to alpha lock. Change the color to this one now. And let's draw with it over here. Let's move on to the next part, to this layer here, set it to alpha lock, change the color to this one, and draw here. Okay, and now the same for the silver parts. So let's start with this layer here, set it to alpha lock, change the color to this one, and we can draw with it here on this side, on the right side. And also under those lines that are on top of it. Let's make the brush size here smaller, 7%. And we can draw like this. Okay, now let's move on to those lines. We can actually put them on one layer, so we can just pinch all of them together like this. Now there are one layer. Let's set it to alpha lock. And let's draw a line here going like in the middle of it. Like that, and on this one here too. And now we can make the brush size bigger, 26%, and just color the right side of it. So our pencil is ready. I will just turn off that symmetry line here. I don't want to see it anymore. So I'm going to the Actions menu, and I will turn off the drawing guide. We can move this pencil to the side of the canvas. Let's open the layers, and we are going to group this. So let's swipe on all of the layers to the right. And now pick here Group. Let's close this group like that, and we can move it to the side with the arrow tool. Somewhere here, and let's rotate it like that. Tap here to finish. And now we can still add some shadow and light to this pencil. To do that, we want all of those parts of the pencil to be just one layer. So we can actually add a layer above it and set it to a clipping mask. So we have here this group. We have to flatten it to make it one layer. But I like to keep my original layers just in case I want to go back to it later and change something. So I'm just going to duplicate this group first. And now this group I'm going to flatten it. And I will hide this one. Now I can make a new layer on top of this. And I can set it to clipping mask. And I can add here shadow. Let's pick the color for the shadow. Take this one, the purple one. We can change the brush here. Let's go here to airbrushing and pick soft brush. Let's make the brush size 10%. And we can add the shadow on this side of the pencil, like that. I'm leaving here this side of the pencil without the shadow, because there will be some reflected light on it. And now this is obviously not the color we want to have here. We are going to change here the blending mode. Let's tap on the layers, tap here, and we are going to pick here multiply. We can turn down the opacity of this. Let's make it 57%. We can make the brush now smaller, 6%, and just make this shadow a little bit stronger, somewhere around here. Now we can add some light to this pencil. Let's make a new layer for this. Set it to clipping mask. Let's change the color. Take this one. And with a very small brush, 3%, we can add some light on the pencil like this. Here. Here I'm trying to follow the shape of that silver part. And now on the eraser. Now maybe let's make the brush size even smaller, 2%, and we can just draw a few stronger lines on the light side, like this, and here on that silver part, and on the eraser, and also here. I'm still going to brighten this part here. I'll make the brush size bigger, 5%, and just add some more light here. Let's add some light also going this way. Let's make the brush size smaller again, 2%, and just draw lines here. Something like that. And for this layer we are going to change the blending mode too. We are going to set this to overlay. To make this silver part shine even more, we can make a new layer, set it to clipping mask. We can take here white color, like this, and draw on it again. Maybe I also want this part to be a little bit more shiny. Now we can move on and we can write here back to school. Let's make a new layer for this. Let's change the color. Let's take this one. And let's change the brush. We can go here to sketching. And we can use here 6B pencil. With the brush size 100%, we can write here back to school. I want this to look here like it's written on the paper, so we have to transform it. Let's take the arrow tool, and here we can pick distort. Now we can move it like that, kind of lay it down, and we can move it here. If you want to make it bigger, we have to change here to uniform, and now we can do it like that. Okay. Now let's tap here to finish, and I will still draw here a line connecting it with the pencil. Let's look at our composition now. Maybe you can move all of it a little bit to the right side. So let's select all of the layers, and let's move them. We can maybe even make it bigger, just a little bit. Tap here to finish. And now we can play around with the background. Let's start with setting the background color. Let's open the layers, tap on the background color, and we can pick this color here. Tap on done. And now let's make a new layer and move it under the pencil. We are going to add here some more color to the background at the bottom. Let's change the color. Take this one. And now we can change the brush. Let's go to the airbrushing and pick soft brush. Let's make the brush size bigger, 21%, and we can just color the bottom part of the canvas like this. Let's create a gradient here like that. Now I would like to add some light effect to the background, so for this we can make a new layer. We can still keep this color, and we are going to change the brush. Let's go to luminance and pick here bokeh lights. With the brush size 66%, we can draw here like this. And now we can change the blending mode of this layer. We can make it look nicer. Let's change it to add. And let's turn down the opacity of this. Let's make it 38%. Let's keep adding to this background. Let's make a new layer. We can now change the color. Let's take this color. And let's change the brush. Let's use here light leak. And with the brush size 39%, just add it in a few places. Now maybe we can add some more magic to this illustration. We can add some sparkles. Let's change the brush. Take this one, glimmer. And with the brush size 34%, we can draw some sparkles coming out of here like this. And now our pencil is still missing a shadow. Let's make a new layer for this. So this layer is under the pencil. Let's change the color. Take this one here. And here we can change the brush. Let's go to airbrushing and we can pick here medium brush. And with the brush size 7%, we can draw a shadow behind the pencil here on this side. Something like this. Now let's make the brush size smaller, 3%, so we can go right here under the pencil. And now we can take the darker color, this one, and make it darker here, like that. And now we can blur this. So let's go to the adjustments and pick Gaussian blur and swipe the pencil on the screen to add the blur size. Let's make it 12%, tap here to finish, and again we can make it stronger here. So let's draw again here. And let's blur this again. So take Gaussian blur. And let's make the blur size 12% again. And now this illustration is finished. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you can share your drawing with me on my Instagram. I would love to see it. And here I have a special shout out to my big fan supporters on Patreon. Thank you so much for being there with me. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!